Hello, I'm Jane from Calm Therapy and welcome to Conversations with Calm Therapy. I'm wishing everyone good health in this time in this pandemic. I think we are in week 9 now, so we are slowly but surely coming out of lockdown, and I think it's bringing up mixed emotions with people. There's a lot to think about and a lot of caution. So, Conversations with Calm Therapy. It's a project where I interview a series of complementary therapists and business advisors during the COVID-19 pandemic. This is to create a connection amongst business advisors. Also, it offers you, the viewer, tips on how to cope with sudden changes, how to manage your fear that arises with uncertainty, and how to move forward through fear. I'll also be asking each guest about any useful rituals or activities that we can add to our daily routines while we are still at home. So my guest today is Lucinda Peyton-Jones. Lucinda is an EFT practitioner and trainer, as well as a Reiki Master. And Lucinda is able to help you with any physical or emotional problems. So hello, Lucinda, and welcome.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
My pleasure. So perhaps you can give us a little bit about your background and the work that you're doing now.
I am, as you mentioned, I'm a Reiki Master, which is where I started my therapy life. And I came into it via not being very well myself through a girlfriend. And I started with Reiki. And I was introduced to EFT through one of my Reiki colleagues, actually, through an introductory morning. And it was such a fantastic technique to help with emotional problems, really getting to the nub of the problem so quickly, in a way that just a straightforward talking therapy can take such a long time, and you're continually harping back on the story, when what you need to do is manage the emotions around the story. The story is never going to change, so what you need to do is change how you look at it. And that's what EFT does. It changes how the emotions around the story. So once you change the emotions on how you look at the story, then you can move on in a completely different way, and it doesn't hold you hostage for the rest of forever. Absolutely. And that may be a story that's happened in your past, way back in your past. It can be a story that's happening right now, or it can be something that's about to happen and how you view something that's going to be happening in your future. And I use it in conjunction with Reiki, because once we've done a whole load of work with Reiki, with EFT, then I love to integrate it. Reiki works in a non-verbal way, and so it connects it and helps it integrate it in a holistic way, non-verbally, through relaxation. And Reiki we use to be proactive about your health, so that it helps your body and your immune system on a subconscious level. So whether you're going through long-term illness and so on and so forth, it helps your body to work with almost everything, emotionally and physically. So that's what I do. So there we are. In a sort of nutshell.
That's fantastic, and you explained it so well. Very much, especially with the EFT. You might be in a certain situation, but the way you feel about it is the game changer, isn't it? Really, it's how you get to move on. You're not holding on to it with those emotions. So, yeah, it's amazingly.
And it's really important to be able to move on from things. And the great thing is that you come to me for the really big stuff, but I can give you the power to manage things on a daily basis. So there are ways that you can learn to do it, and tips that I can give you, and I will give a couple of tapping points, today, that people can use for themselves.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Lucinda. So we're going to move on to the 3 questions so we can get to those tips. So I ask my guests the same 3 questions, and I'm hoping that you answer from your area of expertise. And the first question is, we are going through unprecedented times of sudden change. How might we maintain a positive outlook and a feeling of connection whilst in this period of isolation?
Do you know what? I think it, for everybody going through this time is difficult. And I think the greatest thing is that we all recognize that everybody is doing it differently. And I think actually that is the most important thing to recognize, is that for you and for me, it's different. And that is okay, that we're going to. So far, we've done 9 weeks of it. And that first part of it, we all went into panic mode. And now we have worked out a sort of system of how we're going to do it. And what is important is that hopefully by now we've worked out some strategies. And if we haven't, then that actually is really important, is that we're not spending every day having a duvet day. We need to have worked out some sort of structure of getting up, having some exercise, hopefully not just having the exercise which is sofa to fridge and back again, because that's not always the most efficacious way of doing things. But we need to do something in our day. It doesn't have to be a very big thing, but we need to create something, because doing something small generally leads to doing something bigger. So it doesn't really matter whether it's deciding that you're going to clean a bit of your kitchen, because actually if you clean a bit of the kitchen, you never usually leave it just there. It grows into doing something else. Whether it's just going for a walk down just your little bit of the street, generally will lead to going around the corner and leading to doing a bit more, or doing a little bit of something that is creative. But doing something in the day is actually going to make you feel better, and I think that's important, because doing something rather than just sitting doing nothing is good for your emotions, and it's good for you physically, and having that as a structure in your day is a really important thing to do, because otherwise emotionally we're going to start going downhill quite quickly. And it's, the other thing is to realize that there are people to talk to out there, and it's important to find somebody, whether it's somebody like me that you can come and talk to. You know, I do free consultations for people, or whether you find you've got a mate that you can talk to. But it's important to find your go-to person.
Absolutely, that's very true. Thank you very much, Lucinda. So the second question that I have is that it's known that fear can have a negative impact on the body. How might people release themselves from this fear to reduce mental and physical health issues, and how can they move forward?
Okay, so this is where I would give you some nice tips. Yes, you're absolutely right. Fear does have a dreadful impact, and it reduces your immune system. And therefore it leaves you open to being unwell. And in this particular instance, we don't want to get sick, because even if you get a cold, that opens you to something more serious like the virus that's going around at the moment. And so we want to keep our immune system boosted. So if you already have tips and abilities to keep your immune system boosted and on tip-top condition, please put them in place. Do that on a regular basis. But also, in terms of EFT, there are tapping points. We use a meridian system, tapping is like using acupuncture but without needles. So we use our fingertips to tap, and without going through the whole explanation of what we do, because that would take far too long, there are some very simple points, and I'm going to give you 2 of them because otherwise it's too many to remember. And the side of the eye, I'm going to take my glasses off because that'll be easier for you to see. The side of the eye here is a really good tapping point here, either side or both sides. And this, the side of the eye here, is a very good place to create a sense of calm. And you know, when we're feeling a little bit anxious, a little bit overwhelmed, and we can do that because we're going to have down days. And I think it's really important to accept that we're going to have up days and down days as we go through this. You know, this is all going to be, we do this every day in normal times. And it's going to be worse when we are either with lots of people we're not normally with. You know, it's like Christmas, 3 days of Christmas, and we go, oh my lordy, we're with the whole family. But this is extended into, you know, weeks or months even. So tapping here is really good to help us keep calm. You know, the children are yelling and screaming that, you know, we're not used to having them 24/7, or we're trying to do home education, or we're with the mother-in-law, or our own mother, and we're not used to it. You know, or we're doing, you know, work at home, and we haven't got our colleagues to talk to one-to-one, you know, where you can touch them, and you're desperate to have a hug from somebody. You know, all these things, and we need to have that feeling of calm. So this is a really good place to tap. And the other one is, we've lost stuff. We've lost our old life. And we have to accept that there's a feeling of grief that's going on. And grief comes in all shapes and sizes. And we've lost our old life. We've lost, as I've just said, we've lost our hugs. We've lost our connection with other people. Yes, we see people on Zoom and so on and so forth, but it's not the same. So another place to tap is the side of the bed of your thumb. Can you see it there? The bed of your thumb here.
On the inside there? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, the inside of the thumb, yeah.
Or you can do both sides. You just squeeze the bed of your thumb. It's really easy. So there, the inside of the bed of your thumb. And you can do that because if you're with other people, you can do it with your forefinger, and you can just be sitting there. Yeah, like that. So you're sort of pinching it. And you could be sitting there, and that's very good for sadness. So you could be talking on Zoom and feeling, you know, there's a moment when you can be feeling really jolly and it's great, but there's also a slight sadness that you're not actually with them. And nobody really knows you're doing that, because you can be doing that under the table.
Yes.
You know, you could be, you know, and this is a tip that you can take with you all the time, even when we're not doing this, even when you're out and about, you're having a walk and you've got to say goodbye. You could be doing this in your pocket. You can be doing this at a meeting. You could be, God forbid, you have to go to a funeral. You can be doing this. You could be doing this behind your back. So this is really good for grief and for sadness. So here we have calm by the side of your eye, and here we have grief and sadness. So this one may not be such a jolly one. I could give you joy and all that sort of stuff, but I think these two perhaps are more useful for times of when we're feeling low.
Yeah.
And you go on tapping until those feelings subside.
Yeah, those are the two emotions that really come up during this time, aren't they? That's where we're being really tested, isn't it?
And actually, I think it's important that we acknowledge, because I think it's really important to release and let go. You have to acknowledge and feel these feelings, and you tap while you release and you acknowledge these feelings. And as you tap and acknowledge, and what I would suggest is that you allow yourself to breathe slowly and deeply while you're tapping. So you breathe in, hold it for as long as you can, and breathe out slowly through your mouth. Breathe in. Which will also allow yourself to be calm. So you're releasing and letting go of those emotions. So the whole power of breathing that we all talk about as therapists, I know you do too, when you're talking about your reflexology and so forth. So that power of tapping and breathing will allow things to be calmer and release and let go. So I hope that will help people.
Yeah, absolutely. And the whole point about these, you know, when you're giving these techniques to people, is that it's a practice. And so, you know, you use it reasonably often, but then at the times when you really need it, that's when it really works. It's helping you in those fight or flight moments, isn't it? You know.
Yes, absolutely. And you can use this all day, every day. It's not going to harm you, and you can use it as much as you need to use it. Yeah. And if you really need to know if it's working, you give it a scale of 0 to 10. So you go, okay, in your head you're going, oh my God, I feel it on a scale of 5 or 10, depending on where you are. And as you are tapping, and you go on tapping until that number comes down and down and down and down, and then you know it's working. And if you can, in your head, you describe how awful those feelings are making you feel. So all that negative thought are the words that you use while you're tapping.
Right, brilliant, thank you.
So scared, sick, crying, you know, I hate it being here, I don't want to be in lockdown, I miss my family, you know, if only I could do it. So all the negative adjectives that you can feel, where in my body I'm feeling it. But even if you can't do that, just tap on the fact that I'm feeling sad and lonely and I hate it and so on and so forth.
And it releases it all. It's a really amazing therapy. So
it just gets all those feelings out of the body.
Yes, brings us back into balance, as it were.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So my third question is, based on your experiences, can you suggest any useful rituals or activities that we can add during our routine while we're still at home?
Something that I do, but often forget, and I was reminded the other day that one should get back into doing it during these times, and I think actually is a really good one, and it goes back into this, you know, when you're feeling low, is to remember to try and think of 3 different things each day, no matter how small, that you're grateful for. Mm-hmm. It could be that you made yourself a really nice meal.
Oh, lovely, yes.
It could be that you went on your 20-minute walk and you passed a really lovely smelling rose. Mm. It could be that somebody said hello to you when you said hello to them. Yeah. And that was so nice because actually you hadn't spoken to anybody that day. Mm. But try and think of 3 different things every single day and make a note of it. It's really important to make a note of it. Don't just think of it, write it down. Yeah. So that when you're having a bad day, you've dated it and you can look back and you can go, there are nice things to look at. There are nice things that happen and I am grateful. And maybe you write down just on that list of things, 1 thing that you're going to do today. No more than 1 thing.
Yes.
3 things you're grateful for and just 1 thing that you're going to do today.
Yeah. Because
if you do 1 thing, I bet you'll do 2.
Yes.
Brilliant. And you can add it to your list and cross it off. How wonderful is it to cross off 2 things when you were only going to do 1?
Absolutely, and it takes the pressure off as well of the overwhelm of thinking you've got so much to do.
I mean, I think the thing is people make a list. I think people make a list that's far too long, and then it's too daunting, and then you go, "Oh my God, I can't do that," and you just don't do it. Mm. So I think the great thing is to make a very short list, and then the excitement of adding to it and crossing off extra things is so wonderful. Yes. So I always advise people never make a long list, only ever make a short list and add to it and cross off the things when you've done more than you actually intended.
Brilliant, that's a brilliant tip, especially for me who's a real list lady and just like, oh, too much to do. So yes, definitely one thing at a time.
I hate long lists.
Yeah.
It's a shopping list and you can go and do all those things, but even then I'd rather have a short list than a long list.
Yes, brilliant. That's a perfect tip.
And just the other thing I would absolutely say is that it's okay not to be okay.
Yes, absolutely. And it's just holding that feeling, isn't it? Just if you're wallowing in it, just accept it. That is how it is.
Also, if you're having, but also if you're having a lot of not okay days, please look for somebody to talk to.
Yes, exactly.
Because that means that you're having a bit of a struggle and you just need to have someone to help you through those not okay days. because that's a sure sign that you're having more than just an off day.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's really good. That's really good advice there, Lucinda. So thank you very much. So how can we find out more about you? Do you have a website? Is there anything that you're offering at the moment?
I am always offering free consultations because, you know, I think it's always nice for people to know that there is somewhere to go.
Yeah.
I do, when I do therapies, I'm doing obviously online therapies now, and I do packages of online therapies. So you can book blocks of 3 and 6 and 12 and whatever. But we can discuss that, you know, if you come and have a talk to me. I do have a website. It's www.holistichealthlondon.co.uk. But the easiest thing is to call me on 07767 685 315, or you can email me. And I'm at Lucinda, Lucinda, at Holistic Health London, HOLIS. Oh, I can't write my own website down.
Holistic, HOLISTIC.
Holistic Health, HEALTHLONDON.co.uk. HolisticHealthLondon.co.uk.
They'll find it on your website as well, won't they?
It will all be on my website, believe me. It's all on the website, and Jane will be posting it. I'm so sorry to make such a mess of it. But I am there, and I've given you my telephone number, and you know, that's a really good way to contact me. It's all there, but please try not to do it at midnight. I may not be quite as receptive as I at 10 o'clock in the morning, but if it's really desperate, I will always talk to you. Yeah. Well, yes, nearly always talk to you. But you are sweet. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk to you, Jane.
My pleasure. It's been a real delight. So thank you so much for being part of this project. So I shall be posting this video onto my YouTube channel, which is Conversations with Calm Therapy. So please subscribe to my channel and share it on social media so you can keep up to date on latest videos and interviews as they come up. So thank you very much again, Lucinda, and say goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.